Hello everybody, it's HoveringBanana back with another Rocket League video, and today we are talking about the Rocket Pass, but more specifically, is the Rocket Pass worth it? So if you are someone that's on the fence and you're not quite sure if you should pick it up, hopefully today's video can help you decide. And I think there are three areas to look into, and the first one's going to be hate. If you are one of the people that hate the idea of a Rocket Pass and you think Psyonix is just copying Fortnite, well then the Rocket Pass is probably not for you. But you can also open up Rocket League and have a look at all the items in game. My previous video I also showcased almost all the painted items in the Rocket Pass, and after looking through those, if there are next to none that you really like, then the Rocket Pass probably has no appeal to you. The other thing you need to take into account is size, and they say size is everything. So if you have a massive inventory, let's say you have a 12 car garage with 6 painted octanes, you've got painted boosts, painted cars, white Zomba alpha cap, then what's the point in grinding for hours and hours just to get a ton of unpainted regular items? It becomes a different story if you manage to play hours each day and you can hit 70 plus, because then you're going to start getting painted versions. But if we switch to the flip side and say you have a tiny inventory with maybe only 2 cars and a single pair of exotic wheels, well then the Rocket Pass is more appealing to you because you are going to make more use out of all the items you get. And the final thing you got to take into account, and the one I'm going to elaborate most on, is time. Now with the Rocket Pass, you're paying upfront 10 keys, but you also have to pay with your time. And how many hours each day or per week that you can put into the game will determine what items you're going to get. So thankfully Psyonix has given us some useful numbers, and they've told us that it takes about 100 hours to go from tier 1 to tier 70. If you do a bit of math on that, it works out to about 85 minutes to go up a tier. But let's just round that up to an easy 90 minutes. You might be waiting in between games, or perhaps you're doing a bit of practice before your ranked matches, or at least I hope. They've also given us a deadline when the Rocket Pass is going to end, which is November the 26th, but what that means is you've got just over 11 weeks to finish your Rocket Pass. Now with these numbers in mind, we can create some scenarios to determine if the Rocket Pass is worth for us. And to start things off, let's say you play 3 hours a week, that works out to about 26 minutes each day, and that's quite a standard amount for an average Joe. With that amount of time, you're going to go from tier 1 all the way up to tier 23, and these are all the items you're going to unlock. The standout items here are the Maverick car, the Supernova goal explosion and the key, as well as a lot of standard unpainted items. Now because I have a lot of experience trading, I can roughly gauge the value of these items just based off what similar items trade for, and I think with this deal you're getting about 10 to 12 keys worth of items. However, you have to keep in mind that's if you use every single item, or you at least trade them away. But for someone with a huge inventory, I think this is definitely not worth. You'd probably only make use of the standout items, the Maverick, the Supernova and the key, and I think you can get all of those cheaper if you were just to trade for them. If you're someone with a very small inventory, then I think it kind of depends. If you're comfortable with trading, I think you can get a much nicer budget loadout. But if you are someone that gets all the items from opening crates, I think the Rocket Pass would be much better here. Opening 10 crates, I wouldn't be too surprised if you just ended up with 10 crappy decals. But let's switch things up and double the amount of hours you're going to play, and that's 6 hours each week. That works out to about 51 minutes per day. But what you have to keep in mind is there's probably going to be some days where you can't play, so that time might add up. But if you manage to get through all of it, you're going to go from tier 1 to tier 45. You'll get all the previous items and some new ones. The standout items are going to be the upgraded Maverick. There's a partly cloudy in there. You've got an upgraded Supernova as well as 2 keys. Now summing all of this up, I would say it's worth about 25 to 30 keys. The partly cloudy I showed off in my previous video and it looks quite nice. Compared to other black market decals, I would say this would probably end up going for about 4 to 5 keys, being a bit higher than stuff like a Tora and a Labyrinth. But for someone with a massive inventory, I think it is a decent deal. I think you are able to get your value out with the car, the decal, the goal explosions, as well as the keys, and then you've got a ton of other goodies to go along with it. And then for someone with a very small inventory, it's the same for a person that's comfortable trading or someone who opens crates. So let's move on to our final scenario, and let's say you double those hours again and you are playing 12 hours a week. That works out to 103 minutes each day, just under 2 hours. Now that seems like quite a lot, but if you are someone that's passionate about the game, it's not crazy to imagine you'd play 6 hours on a Saturday and then 6 hours on a Sunday. So I definitely do think it can be done. With all those hours, you're going to go from tier 1 to tier 70, and then you're going to get additional tiers all the way up to 89. where you're in the Pro tier and you're getting painted versions of previous items. Now just the regular tier 1 to 70 I would value at about 45 to 50 keys. Standout items being the final upgrade of the Maverick, the final Supernova, there's 3 keys, and all your other items are upgraded. What I haven't valued is the painted items that you're going to get in the Pro tier. However, I'm not quite sure what I should be valuing those at just because it's so soon after the Rocket Pass release. But at 45 to 50 keys worth of items, I think this is definitely worth for both parties. You've gotten 6 keys back, so you've essentially just played 4 keys. As you keep playing more and more and you keep going up the Pro tier, you're getting more keys and you will eventually get 10 keys back and the Rocket Pass is free. So with all that stuff in mind, it's time for you to make a decision. And what's that going to be? Do you not like the Rocket Pass? Do you think it's overpriced and maybe it should be at 5 keys? Or do you have enough time to play and you're very excited to unlock some of the items? Let me know down in the comments and hopefully that will also help others make a decision. But as always guys, thank you for watching and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.